And we're ready to kick it off, I guess.
To kick some asses.
To kick some ass.
Ah.
But we can kick some asses.
Boom, 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 boom. Coming up on French Kiss. I was like,
Dating non-actors.
but you're not gonna tell me what I can and what I cannot do, especially on stage.
Good for you.
While I am,
Playing
a character. It's
Right.
not me. What the F?
It was like my dream role to do that professionally.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I didn't even get a call back. And I remember that really hurt. And on top of that, I, like a day later, found out you got a call back.
So, yeah. So you would say it's even more competitive in the US?
Oh, a million times more competitive.
Like, it's a weekday. What are you talking about?
Weekends are a societal construct. I don't believe in them. Hello and welcome back to another episode of French Kiss, where we talk about dating and or slash marrying an actor or an actress. What that's like, what it's like as actors marrying or not marrying. We haven't married non-actors. Dating non-actors. It was an interesting conversation. We have very different points of views because we have very different experiences. And also, we have different cultural backgrounds when it comes to where we studied acting. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy this episode. We're so glad to have you on French Kiss. Hello and welcome to another episode of French Kiss. Today we're going to be talking about the concept of being married to an actor. What's interesting is that you and I are both actors, so we don't have the perspective of being a non-actor marrying an actor, which I imagine is a whole thing.
Yeah.
But we both have dated non-actors. So we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about the concept of two actors being married, which is
us.
This is us.
This is us. Ooh.
What's also interesting about this subject is that I feel like it's the kind of thing where I could just ask you one question and we could talk about it for hours. Unfortunately, we're going to try to...
What would be the question?
I don't know. I just feel like there's so much to say about the concept of being married to an actor that we could just talk about it forever. But the reason I'm saying this is because it was quite hard for me to come up with questions to try to sort of make it coherent and so that we, talk about all the things that I want us to talk about in this episode.
Okay.
There's just so much to say, is what I mean to say. So yeah. Are you ready to jump in? Because there's not much context other than we are both actors.
I'm super ready, but can we just talk about your shaving?
Oh yeah.
Shaving?
For people who aren't watching this episode and just listening to it, I recently shaved and cut my hair, and I look like a 12-year-old boy. Which is good because
it's always super surprising.
Yeah,
but it's great.
But as an actor, it allows me to be a little more versatile. Versatile. I think both are correct.
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
I love this word, by the way.
Versatile.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
In French as well.
Versatile. All right, let's talk about being married to an actor now.
Okay.
So my first question actually relates to the time when you dated a non-actor, which we both have. We both dated non-actors. I want to know, what was that like for you? And do you think it's easier or harder to be married to somebody who's in the industry?
Okay, so it goes back to my first relationship ever, which I already
mentioned in the exes episode, yes.
And in other episodes as well, I think. So this relationship was a complete nonsense from A to Z. Z? That's me. And we basically had nothing in common. But at the time, I wasn't doing theater. I mean, I've always been into arts in general, in music, in cinema.
You just weren't studying it when you were with him.
Exactly.
You weren't studying.
Yeah, I mean, I've done theater when I was in medium school.
Middle school?
Middle school?
Yeah.
Collège?
Yeah, middle school.
Yeah.
I like medium school, though.
And in high school?
Small school, medium school, big school.
Big school. And the university is...
extra large.
With bacon.
With bacon. You get your PhD, XXL. All right, we're off topic.
So yeah, at the time I wasn't studying theater, and I kind of felt that I was a bit losing myself
Interesting.
because I stopped all my hobbies.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was taking singing lessons, piano lessons. I was always super sporty, and I stopped everything because I wasn't in a good place mentally wise, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I like all my focus was on this guy, which is bad.
Right.
But yeah, I stopped everything and I kind of, yeah, um, forgot myself a little bit in this relationship. So at the time, I didn't realize it was a potential issue, you know. But with my second boyfriend, actually, like I wouldn't say he wasn't into arts,
Mm-hmm.
but he was super goofy. He was always like horsing around, like embodying characters, making jokes and stuff.
Right.
So he was very entertaining.
Hmm.
And we were having a lot of fun, like, yeah, almost acting together and putting a show all the time. And we were friends before being together. And he came with me to Paris when I decided to move there to do the theater school, go to the Cours Florent.
Okay.
He was with me at the time.
So he was like supportive of.
He was super supportive.
Nice.
But I remember that the first month when I got into school, and I had a lot of rehearsals and a lot of work to do regarding theater. And, I had to meet people outside the school to rehearse, to work on plays together. And I remember he was a bit, I think he felt, I don't know, I don't want to talk for him.
For him, yeah.
But I could feel there was it was something that could set us apart.
Like he felt neglected because you were
Yeah.
putting so much energy in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's an issue that a lot of relationships have, but not just actors. I think that anybody who feels like they're being put aside for that person's career,
Yeah.
which there'll always be a moment where that kind of happens, especially if you don't feel safe in your relationship.
Exactly. That's the thing also.
Yeah.
But the thing with theater and like performing arts in general is that not only you are like putting a lot of energy and commitment into your what you're doing, but also it's super fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. Like
Of course.
you're you're like a kid, You're playing around. You're like you connect on a different level with the people you're working with. So of course, when you're not a part of this and you see it from outside, I understand that you feel even more neglected.
Did
in a
you
way.
ever have any? Because I know this is a big topic for non-actors. Did you ever have any like scenes where you had to like play a character that was like in a relationship and that was kissing people?
Yeah.
Because people who are non-actors have a hard time wrapping their heads around this,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
really
that's-
hard for them.
Yeah.
Whereas for actors, we know what it's like to have to have stage kisses and stuff. So it's not like on-screen kiss. It's
It's
not.
so funny because it feels like I haven't thought about that for a super long time. Like even though you're kissing other women on stage, and I'm fine. I'm fine with it. But I remember this guy. It was a huge deal for him, and he was not happy about it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, that's one of the issues you'll face with
And I was like,
dating non-actors.
but you're not gonna tell me what I can and what I cannot do, especially on stage.
Good for you.
While I am,
Playing another.
playing a character. It's
Right.
not me. What the F? But again, I don't think he was feeling safe in this relationship. So that's why, But yeah, it was quite hard Yeah, it was quite hard managing this situation, and we ended up breaking up
Right.
very, very quickly.
But so you didn't, because you dated this guy while you were deciding to attend theater school.
Yeah.
So that was the beginning of your like acting career per se. and then
Per se.
you only ever dated actors after that, right?
I mean, you.
Yeah, but I mean, you like
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe not
Not,
date, but
but not, no, not only actors.
okay,
No.
okay,
I had a couple of
a couple of flings, yeah,
flings, but not much.
nothing serious, sure.
Nothing serious, but not only from theater school. And then I met you, and I mean, for me, this is so much easier
Right.
to be with someone who is an actor as well and who understands me.
Mm.
I mean, to be in a relationship where we understand each other, and also like this is how we connected together at first.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it all began. Like we met in theater school, but like the first real connection we had was through again this play that we are always talking about, Seism. This was our first, bonding link. Yeah, I mean we are always, watching movies together, going to see plays, going to see musical theater, creating together. So I think that's where we meet. I mean, of course, we connect on other levels now, especially the emotional one, I would say. But yeah, for me it's easier. What about you?
Well, I feel like it comes with positives and negatives. I mean, both sides, because there was, you know, and this is one of my questions later, but, dating another actor as an actor, it brings on some sort of competitiveness and jealousy. And even though we don't go up for the same roles at all,
No.
we have nothing in common in terms of type. um, I think that, it's still going to be, it's sometimes hard to celebrate your partner's achievements.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because you are so proud, but at the same time, there's a part of you that like kind of hurts.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's one thing that you don't really, because there's no comparing if you're dating like a data analyst. You're like, oh, you got a promotion.
Yeah.
Good. There's like nothing
Yeah.
negative about that.
Whereas our lives is all about auditioning and
Yeah.
hoping to get a role and to continue working.
But so you know what? I'm gonna jump to that question now, which is pretty much what I've already said. But we've always been very supportive and proud of each other's accomplishments. But because it's such a competitive industry, and also unfortunately because it's not a meritocracy, and it's not always based on talent. Unfortunately, do you feel like jealousy has ever come between us in the industry? And if so, how did we handle it?
Oh yes, it appeared quite early in our relationship. For me it was super hard at first. I knew it's a bit of a bittersweet feeling because on one hand you're super proud, you're super happy for your partner, you wanna be supportive, um, and like I was just like happy for you to get these roles, to be that much successful, and to work basically. But on the other hand, I couldn't help myself, feeling a bit of jealousy, of envy, because not only you're having your dream job, which I want as well, but also it's a super fun job. Like when you are on a new contract and you start rehearsing with a new team and you're making new friends, and you just feel like you're going on a vacation. Comment on dit?
Like
Compagnie?
like
Une colonie de vacances.
like a summer camp.
Like a summer camp. Like you're having so much fun, and when you come back home, you tell me about all the fun stuff you did all together, and it's hard at times, but I think we handle it way better than before, through communication, of course. And I always feel very seen and very supported by you. Like, I know that you're extra careful and you always here for me to talk about it, just to let me, you allow me to vent and you listen to me. And I feel that you super comprehensive, and like your success just sometimes makes me come back to my reality, and that's all. Like, and I have to work on this, you know it's a me thing, but also it's nice to be able to talk about it together and to feel supported. And it's funny because you work way more than me, but there were times where you were jealous as well. I remember, I think it was for Notre Dame de Paris.
Yeah.
I got a call back, and you didn't, and you were a bit.
Yeah.
You
Well,
were
because
a
it
bit,
was like doing Quasimodo. Notre Dame de
yeah,
Paris is the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and they
yeah.
have a musical in French, which is pretty well known that I did. It was one of the first things I ever did when I was like in middle school, and it was like my dream role to do that professionally. And yeah, I didn't even get a call back, and I remember that really hurt. And on top of that, I like a day later found out you got a call back, which again, there's that mix of like I'm so happy for you, go for it, and also a little bit.
Like it pinches your heart, You're like, yeah, but why not me?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
which
again,
it's so, like, it's so human. Like, I remember at first, I it was so hard for me to feel these feelings, and to accept to feel these feelings, because there was, I think, yeah, guilt again, always, because I was like, yeah, but you shouldn't feel that way. You should be able to just be happy for him and support him and to cheer him on, you know? But once I accepted that, and I accepted he was human and it was supernatural and fair to feel that way, it got better and better. And I will never erase these feelings
yeah.
from me.
I feel like because I have experienced this with you, but I also experienced it with my friends because most of my friends are in the industry. People that I went to theater school in the U.S. with, people that I met here at Cours Florent or on contracts at Disney or whatever. Um, and it's different because some of those people, unlike you, are the same type as me. So sometimes we go up for the same roles. And yeah, it's always an awkward conversation when you guys are up for the same roles or you're going to the same audition because, the next time you talk about it, you're like, "Oh, I got it. Oh, I didn't." And it's like it shouldn't be awkward, but there's a little bit of awkwardness cuz you know that person's going to be like happy for you, but at the same time there's going to be a little bit of I kind of wish I had gotten it too. Which is normal. And so sometimes it's hard, and maybe it's why it sometimes becomes a toxic industry, is because it's hard sometimes to
Yeah.
put your feelings aside and to just be happy for them, because there's always going to be a little bit of a tinge of jealousy. I know that every time we go see a show with a friend in it, I'm so happy for them, and there's a part of me that's like, God, I wish I was up on stage with them
Yeah.
every time. And that it takes away a little bit of the pleasure of just being there for your friend, being happy for them.
Yeah.
But also, if you look at it in the right way, you can just tell yourself, it's just I'm so happy for them that I would want to be up there with them. Like if I want that so bad to be on stage, they must be having so much fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not just people you date; it's also your
No, no, no.
friends
Yeah.
and family.
But and it mainly comes from the fact that this industry, as you said, is super competitive.
Yeah.
Like, we cannot do anything about it, or do our things, like have our own projects and create our stuff.
So we talked about the fact that this industry is competitive, as you said, but this industry is also super unstable
Yeah.
for actors. Even people who have worked consistently don't necessarily know what their next project will be. So this is one of the few jobs where you're constantly looking for work. The job is looking for work, and the cherry on top is getting a contract every now and then. How do you handle being married to somebody who doesn't have a normal 9 to 5. We're about to have a kid, so we can't really, we don't have any stable schedules to like know when we were even looking into like nannies and stuff. We don't know how much time we'll need them around because we don't know if we'll be working or not. All that stuff. How do we how do we navigate that in our relationship? The long hours and then sometimes no work for like weeks.
Yeah. Again, my situation is quite peculiar because I'm not working that much in the theater industry. And I used to be a waitress on the side to earn money, and now I have like a full-time job in PR. So it's yeah, it's different. But when I see you, being sometimes away for a couple of weeks or a month, and then be at home for the same amount of time, and not having any notion of what day it is.
Yeah, I don't follow days of the week. It's not a thing.
So it's Tuesday morning, and Loic's like, "Can we watch Pirates of the Caribbean?" And I'm like, "No, it's Tuesday morning. I cannot do that." It's like, "Why?" Like, it's the week. It's a weekday. What are you talking about?
Weekends are a societal construct. I don't believe in them. I don't believe in that stuff.
So yeah, in a way, it allows a lot of freedom, I would say, and flexibility. It comes back to what we were saying, the working together as a couple episode.
Yeah.
Where it's like we have to manage if we are both at home working, because when you're not at a contract, you're at home, but you're still working because you're creating content and having other, projects on fire, on the sur le feu.
Oh, on the fire, on the stove.
On the stove.
No, coming up. I guess
Yeah.
projects coming up. Yeah.
Coming up. Yeah, we just have to manage this because I personally now have a 9 to 5 job.
Right.
Even though, I
It's
can.
pretty flexible. Well, it's a how do you say télétravail? You're working from home.
Yeah, I'm
So
working remote.
Yeah, you kind of make up your own hours in terms of you have objectives and you do them. So it's not as flexible. But
still.
Yeah, but still.
Yes, it's super flexible.
Flexible enough.
Yeah, flexible enough. So yeah, we have to communicate, and go through that together.
And have a very, very intricate couples planning calendar where we write everything down.
Yeah. I wish. But sometimes it's hard when you're away. I miss you, and I would love to be with you. But at the same time, it's so nice, to have like some me time. And when you come back, I'm always so happy. Like, you just got back from a contract, and you're super free until
September.
Like,
as of now, I'm free until September. Yeah.
And it's amazing to have you at home and to be able to do a lot of things together. So I think we manage it pretty well. What do you think?
Yeah.
But again, we never experienced me having a contract and being away for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's not so much having to handle each other leaving because that hasn't happened that often.
No.
It's more handling like the unpredictability of the job. I know that there have been times where we like had auditions and we were like, if I have this, I can't do that, and like I don't know. You have to kind of like prioritize. I know that there's a lot of things that you and I both had to cancel because we're gonna have a baby in June. So there were several projects that we had to say no to that were like some of them weren't even auditions. They were just like proposals of like projects that people wanted us in, and we had to say no. So that's rough. But I think again, that's the same for any job. Is you have to take time off when you have a child. But yeah, I think it's always kind of hard to navigate, timing wise, schedule wise, because you want to put in time for your relationship, for each other, but also you want to put enough time, and it's doubly hard for you because you have to figure out how to put enough time as a wife, as a actress, as a creator, but also, the full-time job that you have. And I know that that's something that's difficult for you, is like feeling like you can't put all your energy in the thing you love the most because you have to have a job that pays money, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, lately I feel like I not neglected, but took a break, I would say.
Mm,
Yeah, that makes me sad a little bit, but I know I will be back.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I wanted to talk about the fact that we both have studied acting in different places. I studied in the US. I studied a little bit in France, but you exclusively studied acting in France. And we kind of met in the middle. My question is, do you feel like our different educational paths have given us different strength as actors? And have we influenced each other's craft by
Wow.
being together and having worked together
Wow.
because we were in shows together?
Um,
If I can just say one thing before you do, I've always sort of had a hard time because people ask me, do you feel like it's different acting in France and the US? I've always had a hard time kind of specifying what the difference was. I know there is one,
yeah.
but I can't really pinpoint what it is.
Uh-huh. First of all, I would say that like the theater in general in the US is so much more present, developed in terms of education.
Theater.
Like, yeah,
You think so?
yeah, like performance arts in general.
Okay.
Like you have a bunch of different art schools you can go to, and the difference is that it's often linked with um, professional networks. Like you always have showcases at the end of your studies, or like um, options, ways to enter the working industry.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in France, not too much,
Okay.
I would say. You don't feel that way?
Maybe. I say this all the time. I'm going to say it again. I felt like the industry. I have met so many more people who are actually working in the industry um, when I went to school in Paris than I did when I went to school in the US. That isn't to say that I had like more access, but I just think that because it's a smaller industry in Paris, especially musical theater,
Yeah.
I felt like in the school that we went to, Cours Florent, which is a pretty reputable school, we had access to classes with people who are working in Paris. So that meant that when you went out of school, you would have these master classes with people who are either working or hiring in Paris. So when you go out into the professional world, these people have already met you, you know them, you know of them, you know a person who knows a person. And so everything's sort of interconnected from the moment you entered theater school. In the US, first of all, because it's so big, the US is a lot bigger. But even New York, there's just like so many more people in the acting industry in New York than there are in Paris, which means that if you go in one of the millions of theater schools in New York, you'll probably maybe work with somebody who does something, maybe, but like I don't think that you would have the same access than I did in Paris, where I would literally in the school meet people who were hiring in the biggest musical theater in Paris.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, I get that.
And that's why I
But
stayed, is because I felt like I had more access to actual work.
okay. So yeah, but so you would say it's even more competitive in the US,
Oh, a million times more competitive.
even though like the access to education
The access, yeah.
is more present. Like even in high schools, like every high school has a glee club, and you like there's always all these kids singing and acting and doing plays.
Yeah, but maybe that's why I don't think it's maybe that's why I don't think it's as competitive in Paris, because everybody has access to it in the US, so everybody gets good at it in the US. So
Yeah,
you're
like,
competing with
yeah.
everybody, whereas in France it's a little underdeveloped, maybe as you
Yeah,
said,
yeah, yeah.
especially the education. So there's less competition.
Yes. Yeah, that's another thing. I feel that the level
Mhm.
in the US is like it's another world.
Yeah.
It's another league. Like we went to New York and we went to, the Stardust Cafe where the waiters and waitresses sing while they're bringing you food. And I was so shocked. I was so amazed by their talent. Like to me, it felt like they were better singers than the people we see on stage on the biggest musical theater productions in Paris.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I mean, yeah. A lot of the people that get hired there are people who are auditioning to be on Broadway.
Yeah.
And if they're working there, generally it means that they're still auditioning, or they've moved on to just doing that full time, because some people do that. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say everybody, but
No.
there's definitely people who aren't as good who are on the biggest theaters. So, it's kind of...
And also in the US, I feel that performers are really good singers and actors.
Mm-hmm.
They're both, Whereas in France, it is sometimes less equal.
It's either or.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, sometimes. Not everybody, but... And also I feel like the musical theater in the US dominates the mainstream theater landscape,
Yeah, whereas in
France it's the contrary.
Yeah.
I mean, musical theater is taking a bigger and bigger space.
Yeah.
But it's not the...
Yeah, theater
it's not
is
the
still
same industry.
For sure.
Yeah, because we have this French theater heritage, with Molière, Corneille, Racine and stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
It's different.
All right, here's my last question. This is kind of a bonus question. If we could play any roles opposite each other in a dream project, what would they be?
Oh, wow. I think a comic duo. I would love to play with you.
Mm-hmm.
But like maybe a bit of a love-hate relationship,
Okay. Do you have any examples?
Like naturally, I was thinking of Shrek and Fiona. I would love.
Oh, so also
But
romantic.
it's a romantic relationship.
Right.
No, I would no. I would rather okay, if we could play any roles together, it would be Cusco the musical, and I would play Isma, and you would play Kronk.
Kronk and Yzma.
Kronk and Isma.
In a musical.
In Cusco le musical. Please.
In the Emperor's New Groove, the musical.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
You would do a perfect Kronk. I have a...
For those who don't know what Kronk is, it's Kronk. In the Emperor's New Groove.
Isma is correct?
Yzma is correct, yeah.
It's not Isma?
I mean, Kronk is correct. It's
Kronk
just some
is
people
correct.
might not.
You would do such a great Kronk, and I think I have quite a Isma energy.
Sure.
Even though I don't have her physics.
Right.
Physics?
Yeah, her physical attributes.
Her physical attributes.
Whatever.
She's tall and thin,
Yeah.
I'm small and but
small and
yeah. We would have
muscly.
We would have so much fun. Yeah, muscly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, any comic duo.
Like those two in Hercules, those two little side characters. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pain and Envy or something.
Yeah, comic duo. Or
Well,
like if you could play the Grinch, and if the Grinch had a woman, had a wife someday.
Yeah. That'd be you. You'd be Mrs. Grinch.
Yes.
All right, let's make that happen, Mr. and Mrs. Grinch.
What would you love to?
Yeah, that sounds good. Like a good love-hate relationship. We're both kind of meanies, and we say whatever we think, and we're like annoyed by each other. I'd also love to do like a buddy road trip movie with you, like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You know that movie?
No.
Yeah, any buddy road trip movie, but with like zero romantic ambiguity.
Okay.
I think would be really funny. I don't know why zero romantic ambiguity. I think it's because I don't want to go in that territory. I just want to stay in because we live that daily together.
Yeah, and we already done that.
We have already done that. We've already played that. I want us to be like, Yeah, a real love-hate. We're at the end, we're like, nah, we're buddies. But throughout the whole thing, we kind of hate each other.
Yeah, we love that.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I could put all my frustration in this character.
In this character.
Kidding.
Well, thank you so much for answering these questions.
Thank you.
I hope that the people listening, if they were doubtful about wanting to date an actor, they have more clarity now. And they know what to do. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to tune in next week for the next episode of French Kiss.
Bye-bye.